only what was on the page, it was like who we were going to be working with. An incredible bunch.
So you already knew it was
Actually, I think I was one of the first ones on. Blythe was there. But beyond that, I'm not sure. Maybe Mary Kay was there, but I'm not positive about that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the material. You know, I mean, nobody's offering me a leading man part anymore at 70 years old.
Surprise, but
particularly a bright piece of material that's kind of every man's tale and is honest, and you know, some real characters that you can identify with. It's kind of a story that all of us are going to be going to deal with in one way or another, at least certain elements of it.
Was there, when you read in the script that you're going to be chomping on a cigar in practically every scene, what was your thought on that, or were you supposed to be smoking?
Oh, it was interesting. I mean, it was like, you know, I believed it. I wasn't a smoker per se, but I was I've smoked a few cigars in my life, and I thought, you know, that was, it's part of this guy, this kind of footloose guy that he, you know, walked around with a cigar in his mouth. My wife said, I wish he would have walked around a little less with the cigar. But I felt like it worked okay. And Bret and I were pretty much in concert with that. I asked him about, how about without the cigar now? And, you know, once in a while he said, no, I think you should keep it. You know, but other times, and it kind of, I think as I recall, as it progressed, you saw less of it.
Yeah.
Sam, no matter what film I see you in, I know, and I've told you this throughout the years, I know I'm going to see a good movie. I just don't know what you're going to bring. And for this, besides the appearance of it, it was just good to see you there.
Thanks.
Just good to see
Thank
that.
you. Thank you.
Working with the ladies, talk about that. What was that like? Because you didn't really have scenes.
I didn't have scenes with them, but it's like all of us know these women from forever, you know, and particularly Blythe and Mary Kay, you know, Rhea too. I mean, I never had a personal encounter with any of the women that were on this movie. And that's like one of the strange phenomena in this business where you just, you know, you go and you have these incredible kind of intimate relationships with people, and then it's over, you know, and sometimes you come back and get to work together again, or you run into them together. But I don't know, it's just, and again, I attribute it, whatever happened on film, to Bret, you know, and Mark Bosch, who, you know, as co-writers. But to Bret, this young kid that's in his 20s, that wrote this film about older people, created a real kind of a scenario, and he's gifted in terms of being on the set too, you know. I mean, we had 18 days to make this movie. And you think, man, in 18 days, we really made a movie like this. And it's because everybody was in concert. I mean, there was no bullshit. There weren't any fucking prima donnas on this set. You know, everybody was excited to be there and pulling their own weight and helping other people, I think, at the same time, you know. I don't know if that answered the question or not, but with Blythe personally, it was just, you know, I mean, I love Blythe, you know, she was iconic and has been around forever. And she's such a nice woman. I mean, she's just a nice woman. And she was uncomfortable in the beginning. I know, she went, God, I gotta kiss somebody else.
First day.
You know, it was like right off the top. And remember she said, I never kissed anybody with a mustache before. Well, you're about to get in.
That's what I was thinking. I thought that one might have been her first.
It was. And she talks about her husband a lot, you know, which is, I totally get that. She's still in love with him and always will be in love with this guy. There's no question about it. He is first and foremost in her psyche, I think. That's kind of on some level a little unsettling, but at the same time it's very settling. And you think, well, you know, that we're coming here to go to work. I mean, somebody asked me, it was like E.T., of course, asked me about Blythe had talked about being so relaxed with me in bed that she threw her leg over me at one point and was like, oh my God, what am I doing? You know, and it was like, and then the E.T. guy asked me, well, what was that like? What was it like? You know? It just spoke to the fact that she was that relaxed and she felt that good about it. But at the same time, once she realized it, she was like embarrassed and guarded. You know, it was just a joy to do this thing.
One of the
and
things
work
I
with her.
really liked about this movie is that I'm in the middle of that age, and you get to see what people are going through. Like I know what it's like to lose a dog. That's not fun.
Yeah.
Even a horse,
Yeah.
even tougher sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm like thinking of that. I'm like, I've never had a boat, so I was like thinking, this would be interesting. So I was really relating to your character on that, and I could see. So what? That made a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, it did for that character. You know, I'm not sure that I completely. In fact, I know that. I mean, this guy was footloose. You know, he had no commitments. He had no family. He had no. You know.
But he was the guy that everybody knows.
And it was kind of the ultimate fantasy on some level. You know, and that's what made him fun to play with. Because I've got family. I've got dependents. I've got. You know. I mean, you know, it's. I would no more go through my money and do what I want to do just to do it than, you know.
Do you spend time in your head with a part like that, crafting his backstory a little bit?
Not really. Not really.
Sort of
I'll tell you when it's so well delineated
Mm-hmm.
on the page, you just go and just do it and just try to have fun, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I've always felt like if you can't have fun making movies, then you're just,
What are you doing there?
you're going about it the wrong way, you know.
It was a very honest portrayal, though. Very honest.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very earnest and
I
honest.
felt close to this guy. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed playing it.
Do you enjoy viewing in cinema films you're in, or are you self-conscious to watch yourself?
I think all of us probably are a little overcritical when we look at our own stuff. And I know some actors don't look. It doesn't bother me to look. I cringe sometimes, especially the old stuff. I did NPR yesterday, and although thank God I didn't have to look at film, but they had several clips that they played of old things I'd done, TV and movies, and it was like, they had everything but frogs.
We acquired the Hollywood Film Festival last year for young social filmmakers. And so part of our mission for this year is looking at both film and television. And so of the 500 films I watched this year, one of my favorites was what you brought to Justified. It's stellar. I mean, you were frightening in that film, and you were likable in this film. What's the difference have you found between working on a television set versus a film set? What kind of commitment difference is that?
On some levels, I don't think there is any difference.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like there's a difference. It all boils down to material and people you work with. And Justified was every bit as a wonderful experience as this movie was. Only it went on and on and on and on. And man, what a joy that was to go to work on. I mean, I have no idea why last year I got this, a movie called Grandma, and Justified all came my way. And at a time where I'm thinking, well, it's going to be voiceovers from now on, and that's pretty much it. You know, but the Justified character was fun.
Yeah, great character.
I mean, shaving my mustache off and combing my hair like
Crazy.
straight back,
Yeah.
which I've never done. I've just never done that.
Yep.
I've grown long hair. I've had real long hair, but I felt like it felt like a real character piece.
Meeting this young director today, he's purely a good guy. You can tell.
Yes, he
And
is.
you're well known. I spent years with Lloyd's of London. You're well known as a good man, as a good person. What kind of advice do you give guys his age about what's it like in Hollywood to still retain your moral center in a business that doesn't necessarily?
It's just being direct. It's like this character Bill in this movie. That's the one thing I loved about him. He's very direct, which can be, very, appealing. I think on some level, it's a little shocking maybe if you hear something you don't want to hear. But I just tell Bret to just fucking be true to himself. Fuck him. Fuck those people that would change you or push you or, and pardon my, but I totally feel passionate about that.
That's
And
why.
it's a hard position to take.
It is.
And I've taken that for almost 50 years, or 47 years, sometimes to my detriment, often to my detriment, where people say, well, fuck Elliott, what's that all about? Well, he's going to be nothing but trouble on the set, and it's the total opposite. I'm the easiest, I guarantee you that I am the easiest actor there is in this business to work with. Because I get it, I've been there and I know everybody's problems and I'm sympathetic to it, to the process, to making films. And like I said before, if you can't have fun doing this, then you're just going about it the wrong way. You know?
Have you, or are you thinking about directing?
I've had opportunities to direct, and right now I just love acting. I wanted to be an actor since I was a little kid, and it came my way. I had tunnel vision about it. I had people, friends, family, not so much family, other than my dad thought I was a total imbecile for wanting to pursue it. But my mom was like my #1 supporter, and I just had tunnel vision about it. Against all odds, I was going to come and take a crack at it. And I got really lucky.
Is there a role or a character that you haven't played that you would like to?
I feel on some level I played like the same character every time out. You know, and a lot of people would agree with that. You know, if nobody's going to accuse me of being a chameleon, you know, I mean, justify it's about as far over the dam as I've gone. You know what I mean? But I'd like to, you know, I don't know that there's an answer to that. I've had that question before, and it's over the years. And I just think the stuff that appeals to me is the stuff that has some kind of a moral compass or a moral code. Although this guy didn't, you know, that you mentioned in Justified. It was pretty amoral, to say the least. But I think that served me well. I think it's served me well playing those kind of characters. And I think the audience is there because of that. I think all those westerns that I did, even the bikers I played, they were like good guys. The soldiers that I played were a soldier kind of a thing. You know, even when they were generals, they were in the shit with the boys, so to speak.
What about stage? Have you ever done stage work?
I did some in high school. I did Guys and Dolls in grade school, man. I mean, I started early.
This guy Macpherson?
No, I played Big Julie.
Big shit.
And, you know, anyway, I did a lot of singing. My mom used to drag me to sing to a cherub choir when I was 4 years old, 5 years old. And sang in church choirs like through high school.
Too bad you weren't in the karaoke scene.
Yeah. Maybe just to go right back and done a duet, maybe. You know, but yeah, I did some in high school, I did some in college, and I did some civic theater up in Portland before I came here. But
would you do it again?
I'm not sure. My wife and I have done recently. We've done a show called Love Letters. The last 3 years, we've done it 3 or 4 times in different cities, and really enjoyed doing that. But the security with that is like you're reading it off of paper. I don't trust myself anymore to remember it. It's a struggle for me to remember dialogue.
Sam, I was talking to Al Pacino a few weeks ago for Danny Collins, and I asked him about, Al, what do you think about social media? He goes, well, I hear I'm on social media, but I don't do it. He goes, do you think I should do it? And we all said, no, don't do it. What are your feelings on social media and movies related, and what do you think about all the big, huge blockbuster movies now, when we should be seeing stuff like this?
Well, I don't know if we should be seeing stuff like this. I think this is where the great reward is. Not financially, certainly for the studios, but this is where it is for audiences that like to see films and filmmakers that like to make movies. As far as social media goes, I don't do it. I don't email. I don't have an email address. I don't Twitter. I don't do any of that shit. And it's a choice, and it's not without consequences that I make that choice. You know, my agents and all those people would love to be able to send me an email when they wanted, but And sometimes I gotta really look for people that can send me a fax. I mean, I still fax. I'll text, but I won't do anything other than answer a phone and text. And it's like, you know, I know how to go on and get on the information highway and look for stuff if I want to, you know, look for something. But I don't like the exposure. I just don't. I can't deal with real mail, let alone email. You know,
Your wife too?
My wife's on it.
Oh,
She's on it. Yeah. She's not voracious about it though.
Okay, guys, last question.
Do you have an all-time favorite film?
Uh,
Whether it's one that you're in or just
I don't know. I always go back to Red River, pictures like that. You know, John Ford movies, any of those old John Ford movies. 'Cause those are the movies that made me want to be an actor. You know, I used to see them, you know, as reruns as a kid. I used to see them on television.
You'd be perfect for those movies.
Yeah, they always spoke to me. I don't know what about them, but
It's cost.
something about them.
Movies are cost.
Yeah.